All right, so on this channel, I've reviewed quite a few things. I told you guys about, Black Panther. I told you guys about Captain America. I haven't talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I talked about how Ryan came out and stated that Ryan Reynolds came out and stated that, hey, Blade is basically the father when it deals with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even underneath that comment section, got a whole bunch of I guess you could say true Americans, males, that decided to say, "Oh no, it's Howard the Duck. Actually, it's Michael Keaton and it's Christopher Reeves. Actually, it's this. Actually, it's that." And I'm like, how are you listing DC in a Marvel conversation? I'm like, are you that dense and stupid and racist that you have to, forego anything that I, basically made a stance on? Because I said we're talking about Marvel, and you want to list something completely different because you don't like the fact that Ryan Reynolds stated that Blade is pretty much the father of all of the Marvel movies that are directly out here. You even had somebody to the extent wanting to list Tobey Maguire. And as a Tobey Maguire fan, you are incorrect. You're 100% again incorrect. No, that's not how that works. Again, Blade first. He came out. That's what led directly into what we have at this moment in time. We're not looking at the piss poor Punishers that failed. We're not looking at the poor Fantastic Four that directly came out, and that was only a grab in order to keep the rights a little bit longer. We're not looking at Howard the Duck because again, who's talking about Howard the Duck in 2024? Nobody. And so many other movies as well. We're not talking about any of those. We're talking about what pretty much led from the tail end of the 90s, Marvel wise, directly into what we have right now, which then would also lead into the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which will lead into Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Chris Evans, Captain America, and so on and so on and so on. So that brings us to this. There was a trailer of Ironheart. I watched it, I think it was about a minute to 2 minutes long. And you were seeing the start of Ironheart. It took place at the tail end of Black Panther 2 when she was there making the suit. Shuri stated that, hey, I like the suit. It looks great. It looks awesome, but I can't let you leave with it, right? Because it's vibranium, right? So they're not going to allow her to go back to America and just have the suit, and then magically somebody decides to somehow some way get the suit from her. Now it's a whole nother problem, right? That's going to be a whole nother problem that the Wakandans are going to have to take down and clean up after the mess that others wanted to create, just trying to get directly into Wakanda and take the vibranium for themselves. So later on, you see that she's at MIT and she's trying to figure out a way to, make the suit. She's going through, the normal school type of deal, being a genius, scoffing at, doing homework and all of this other type of stuff. And then you got the college professor that genuinely cares and that wants to see the student, become, something more. So during the time of MIT, you have Riri trying to do the schematics, trying to build a brand new suit using some of the things that are there, but she realizes that is going to take more money than what is actually readily available that she has and what is also offered at the school. So there you have a crime element that takes place, and she is working with a character. Now the character is known as the Hood. Normally, if you happen to look him up, you'll see a guy wearing a red type of hood, and I'm not talking about DC's Red Hood. And they inevitably end up doing some crimes, and she gets the money that she needs in order to get the parts so that she can make the suit. And then once she has the suit, and the suit again, it's about a Mark 1 or a Mark 2. Pretty much it's going back to the Iron Man type of deal where you had the original Iron Man suit, and then he started going through and really crafting and working through and streamlining a lot of stuff. That's the same thing that's going to happen directly in the Ironheart movie. right? Because you see her at one point, somebody's, I guess, committing a bank robbery, and she uses sort of the same move that Iron Man did when he fought Thanos, where he had the 1 foot and he had that really, stuck to the ground, and then he punched, Thanos with the with his right, fist. She sort of did that directly to the ground in order to stop the truck from moving. All in all, looking at the trailer and how it is, for me, I feel like it looks good. It's a standard issue start of a superhero film. Usually the start is going to be a little bit slow, to get it directly off the ground. But, usually through the movie, you'll start to see the growth and the transition of the character and everything like that. Same thing that happened with Black Panther. Same things that happened with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and so on and so on and so on. But, and this is the problem. From these are just a few of the comments. There are many more. Trust me, there are many, many, many more, and some far more worse than what you are able to read directly in front of you. And as you can clearly see with some of the comments, I thought Marvel learned nobody wants these types of films. And when a person is writing these types of films, he's meaning a film where you have a black lead, where you have a black actor, a black superhero, where you have a individual that is stepping into the role of somebody who was there, because I'm not sure if a lot of these people actually realize that Tony Stark is not in existence at this moment in time. He is Doctor Doom. So for a lot of people to want to try to, I don't know, because you're not going to get Tom Cruise to just come in and play Iron Man. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what people are waiting for or looking for, but I find it to be completely crazy. But I do realize and understand the fact that they want the character to look exactly how it is that the character look, which is like them. And this is when, if you look up Ironheart, you will see that people have different images. One of the kid from what was it, Iron Man 3 movie or 2, the little boy that was, with Tony and whatnot or whatever, when he crashed in his neighborhood and he was working on the suit. People thought like, oh yeah, that's going to be the, the next person. That kid was a genius too, like he would be a great, Iron Man coming up. They can give him his own story, yada yada. Right, that's what they wanted to happen. That didn't happen. So then, after everything that happened in the Infinity War and Endgame, they thought that it was going to be his daughter. Like, oh yeah, that'd be so great and sweet if they had her, and they also had rescue her mother, and they could sit up there and be a team and go around and fight crime and yada yada. Yeah, that didn't happen. So what inevitably ended up happening is that you have Rue Williams, who I want to say could be incorrect, was around at least since about 2016. So that's quite some years, quite some time. And she pretty much was the person that ended up taking over for Tony. Tony was AI. Tony was, pretty much either not in existence at the moment in time, or he was pretty much off the radar. Any which way it basically went, Tony was AI. Riri was able to, get Tony's AI directly into her system, and this is what they were doing at that moment in time. This was, in a sense, a passing of the torch up until they ended up bringing back Tony Stark. You still have Ironheart, own character doing her own thing, and whatnot or whatever, part of the Young Avengers. And then you have Tony Stark, who is still Tony Stark, a part of the Avengers, and still going through the man in a bottle alcohol and fighting all of those demons, losing his money time and time again, and yada yada yada. Same old thing every single day, right? But again, you're dealing with people who don't really, in a sense, know or read the comics. Another person said, boring plot, horrible actor, DEI based garbage. Marvel is pathetic. DEI basically stands for another word I'm obviously not going to say at this moment in time, but if you're smart, you know what it is. It's basically a substitute word that they always like to do to get around a lot of things and think that people don't know or understand. And it also stands for the whole thing of quote unquote their version of woke. And even though that's not what woke actually means, people just co-opted and swapped it into something else. And again, it has to do with the fact that people don't want to see other people in the spotlight or having lead roles, because in their world, they are the pinnacle, they are the zenith, they are the center of the universe. Another person said, trash as always, they do not know that Ironheart is not that impressive. Bro, what? They just made Captain America black. Now, Iron Man? Hell no. Racism. Another one, I don't think a single person cares for that ish. Another one, that's going to flop so hard. Another person, who cares? I'm so sick of this. Another one, pity for blacks, the movie. Another one, they should have kept the one, wait, they should have kept the one in Black Panther 2. I like that one. I guess they mean the suit. But again, looking at the trailer, she wasn't able to keep the suit because it had to do with the vibranium and the technology that was Wakandan based. Looks awful. Another person, not gonna lie, this is crap. Another one, Marvel didn't learn a thing. Well, my whole family of 8 will continue to boycott. Nobody cares. Nobody even knows who you and your family 8 of 8 even are. You're acting like you guys are popular and people are just going to follow what it is that you're doing because you stated on social media you got a blue check. I need you to calm down, relax. You're not anybody important. You and your family 8. Nobody cares. There are more than just you in this universe that drive prices and put, butts in the seats in order to get tickets and movie sales. Calm down. Another person, I thought Marvel learned from their mistakes. Another person, ew, cancel this ASAP. Another one, I'll politely be skipping this one. Another one, man, this looks dreadful. Like I told people before, every single time I happen to cover a lot of these topics, it's the same thing time and time again. The funniest thing is you don't happen to see black people really complaining about stuff like this. The moment in time that we get a movie that's a superhero, we're not going to complain. Oh, yes, it's just too much of the same looking ones directly out here. When can we get some more diversity? We're not really saying it. We just deal with what it is. We're used to sitting up there seeing Thor because we had to grow up with it. We're used to seeing Spider Man and all these other characters that look nothing like us. But through reading the stories and understanding the characters and growing up with the characters and watching them and seeing the evolution of the characters, we love those characters. We were drawn to those characters. And even though the characters don't look anything like us, we see something in there that we can find a familiarity or a commonality when it deals with, how well those characters are written. And for me, I feel like that's the way that it should be. No matter what ethnicity a character is, I feel as though everybody should be able to see something within that character, because beyond the quote unquote color of somebody's skin, it's the person at heart. It's the heroism. It's the fact that they are a hero. They want to do the right things. It's the battle. It's the conflict. It's the different things that they have to go through, um that we as humans have to go through as well. But again, like I said before, I can only explain this from the perspective of a black man. And this is how I see it. This is how I read and look directly at a lot of these comic books. Because if I got to a point where I'm like, man, I don't see nobody that looks like me, I'm just not invested in anything. I'm not going to look at or watch anything unless it's reflective of me. Do you understand how much stuff that I would lose out on? I would literally be stuck in one area and that's it. I wouldn't know nothing about nothing about nothing about nothing. All because I'm focused on something that doesn't look like me. That's crazy. But this is, in a sense, what you're seeing. And this is what you're going to consistently see time and time and time and time and time again. And the other thing I want to point out as well, too, is that you don't happen to hear the Asians who, happen to do manga or anime. You don't hear them really complaining that a lot of their characters don't look Japanese. They don't look Chinese, Korean. They don't look Asian in general, but they look European. They look like something that is not them or of their culture. but they do that in order to get to the main marketing, which is the Caucasians, Europeans, to, you know, get that stuff directly over there so they can actually pull in money, right? So, you know, like I said before, it's hilarious. The people that aren't creating anything are the main ones crying the most about representation, while the people who do create it are not specifically putting themselves at the forefront, but they're masking their artwork and allowing somebody else to, you know, place or have their face directly on what is considered them or their culture. It's funny how, you know, those things work, I guess. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.